My friends, listen closely, because what I'm about to tell you is not just about money. It is about destiny. It is about the weight of responsibility that comes with what God places into your hands. There will come a day when God will shift your season, when the resources you prayed for, cried for, and fasted for will finally flow into your life. But hear me well. When that day comes, when that blessing arrives, when that money comes, don't tell anyone, because not everyone who smiles at you is happy for you. Not everyone who claps for you is clapping out of love. Some clap with envy in their hearts. Some smile with daggers behind their backs. And if you do not learn the discipline of silence in your season of increase, you will sabotage the very blessing God gave you. God is a God of wisdom, and He blesses not only according to His will, but according to our capacity to handle it. Many of you have been praying for provision, for breakthroughs, for financial doors to open. And God, in His timing, is faithful to answer. But understand this, wealth is not just a blessing. It is a test. It reveals who you truly are, and it reveals who is truly around you. When you announce prematurely what God has placed in your hand, you invite the jealousy of those who cannot stand to see you lifted higher than them. You invite the greed of those who will try to manipulate you. You invite the evil eye of those who would rather see you in chains than see you free. That is why God whispers in your spirit, when this money comes, don't tell anyone. Think of the silence of God in certain seasons. He does not reveal every detail of His plan to everyone, because if He did, the enemy would attempt to destroy it before it could manifest. And if God Himself guards His plans with mystery and secrecy, how much more should you guard the blessings He pours into your life? There is a reason God tells you to go into your room and pray in secret, because what happens between you and Him must remain whole. Why? Untouched by the hands of men. The same applies to your wealth, your breakthrough, your increase. Guard it, for it is holy. I am telling you with conviction, many people are struggling not because God has not blessed them, but because they exposed their blessing too soon. They opened their mouths when they should have kept quiet. They shouted to the world when they should have whispered to God alone. The moment you speak of what is in your hand, you release it into the atmosphere where envy, jealousy, and wickedness can find it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Silence is not weakness. It is protection. Silence is not fear. It is wisdom. Silence is the shield that keeps your treasure hidden until God Himself decides to display it. God will elevate you in His time, but not everyone is ready to see you elevated. Some will curse you behind your back. Some will use you. Some will pretend to love you, but only want to drain you. That is why you must discern. That is why you must protect your harvest. When the rain of abundance finally falls on your field, you must not run out screaming to the village, "Come and see my crops." For the same people who see your harvest will come with hands to pluck it. And soon you will find your field empty because you failed to protect what God gave you. Now hear me. Money itself is not evil. Money is a tool, a resource, a channel through which God's work can be accomplished in your life and in the lives of others. But money is also a magnifier. It magnifies your character. It magnifies the character of those around you. And it magnifies the intentions of your circle. When God blesses you financially, He is not just blessing you, He is testing you. Will you use it for good or for destruction? Will you manage it with wisdom or flaunt it with pride? Will you keep it quiet and let your life speak? Or will you announce it to people who secretly hope for your downfall? This is why I say again, when this money comes, don't tell anyone. God, not interested in how loudly you can announce your blessing. He is interested in how faithfully you can steward it. Think about it. What good is it to tell the world what you have if it leads to strife, conflict, and envy? What good is it to show off what God gave you only to become a target for people who want to take it from you? God gives in secret, and He rewards in secret. Let your wealth show itself through your discipline, through your generosity, through the way you carry yourself, not through the noise of your mouth. There are people who lost their wealth, not because of mismanagement, but because of exposure. They opened their treasure chest in front of thieves. They broadcasted their blessing in front of wolves, and wolves will always come when they smell blood. Do not be naive, my friends. The enemy does not attack where there is nothing. He attacks where there is value. And when God fills your life with value, you must cover it in prayer. Cover it in silence and cover it with discernment. If you are faithful in your silence, God Himself will showcase your life. You will not have to tell anyone, because your fruits will speak for you. Your peace will speak. Your progress will speak. Your family will speak. The doors that open will speak. And the same people who once mocked you will see with their own eyes what God has done. You don't need to announce it, because God Himself will be your announcement. My friends, there is a reason why God moves in silence. There is a reason why He tells you to be still and know that He is God. Because the things He is preparing for you, the doors He is opening, the abundance He is releasing, these things are too sacred to be shouted into the ears of men who do not understand the holiness of what He is doing. God does not reveal everything at once, because if He did, the enemy would rush in to interfere. And if God, the all-knowing, guards His work with divine secrecy, then how much more should you guard the treasures He places in your hands? When the day comes that money flows into your life, when your barns are filled, when the resources you prayed for finally find you, you must understand that not every hand stretched toward you is a helping hand. Some are hands that want to take, not to give. Some are hands that come with flattery, not loyalty. Some are hands that will pretend to build with you, but their true desire is to drain you. That is why God warns you. For when this money comes, don't tell anyone, because silence is your shield. Silence is your protection. Silence is your strength. Do you know why the enemy prowls so fiercely against those who prosper? Because prosperity in the hands of a faithful servant of God is dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. Wealth in the hands of the righteous is not for selfish pride. It is for impact, for generosity, for lifting others, for advancing God's will in the earth. That is why the enemy wants to distract you, expose you, and lure you into announcing what should remain hidden. Because once you announce it, you paint a target on your own back. But if you keep it in the secret place, no one can curse what they cannot see. No one can block what they cannot identify. No one can destroy what they do not even know exists. God will not bless you for the sake of applause. He will not raise you for the sake of attention. He will not pour into you just so you can prove something to your enemies. No, He blesses you because He has entrusted you with responsibility. Money is not just currency, it is assignment. It is a divine responsibility, a test to see if you will remain humble, disciplined, and faithful when He multiplies what is in your hand. The danger is not in receiving the blessing. The danger is in mishandling it. Many who received wealth lost it because they flaunted it. Many who were lifted high fell because they exposed too much too soon to the wrong people. When God blesses you, you do not need to parade it before the world. Your blessing will announce itself through the changes in your life. The roof over your head will speak louder than your lips. The peace in your spirit will testify louder than your boasting. The stability of your home will shine brighter than any announcement you could make. You do not need to convince anyone that God has blessed you. Your life itself will preach the sermon. Do not confuse silence with ingratitude. Thank God in private. Worship Him with your heart. Acknowledge Him as the source of all you have. But when it comes to people, let your wisdom guide your tongue. Not everyone deserves to know the details of your breakthrough. Some people only love you when you are struggling, because your struggle makes them feel superior. But the moment you rise, their true hearts are revealed. If you rush to tell them of your blessing, you will awaken jealousy that had been sleeping. You will ignite envy that had been hidden. And soon those you thought were for you will become those working against you. My friends, there are seasons when silence is the greatest strategy. Think of the seed planted in the soil. It grows quietly. It stretches its roots in darkness before it ever shows its face to the sun. If the seed were pulled out too soon, it would die. In the same way, the blessing God is growing in your life must be protected in silence until it is strong enough to withstand the world's gaze. That money coming to you is not to be announced like fireworks. It is to be guarded like treasure. Understand, this money is not your identity. Do not let wealth change who you are. Do not let it make you arrogant, boastful, or reckless. Money should not control you. It should serve you. And when it comes, the greatest power you can exercise over it is self-control. To receive wealth and yet remain humble. To be elevated yet remain grounded. To have more but to speak less. That is true wisdom. That is true strength. And hear me. When God gives you resources, it is not so you can prove you are worth to doubters. Stop trying to prove yourself to those who never wanted you to succeed in the first place. If they laughed when you struggled, they will sneer when you rise. Do not give them the satisfaction of knowing what God has placed in your hand. Instead, let them wonder. Let them see the evidence without hearing the announcement. Let them witness the glow without knowing the details of the oil. That is how God works. He hides His greatest treasures until the right moment. If you truly want your blessing to last, keep it between you and God until He instructs you otherwise. Share only with those He shows you are trustworthy. Be selective with your circle, because wealth in the wrong environment will not only vanish, it will destroy peace. Protect your peace as much as you protect your prosperity. For what good is money if you have no rest? What good is wealth if you cannot trust those around you? What good is abundance if you cannot sleep at night because envy has surrounded your home? God is the one who gives, and He is also the one who takes away. Do not lose what He gave you through careless exposure. Do not forfeit your harvest through reckless boasting. Let gratitude fill your heart, but let discretion guide your mouth. In silence lies your protection. In silence lies your security. In silence lies your wisdom. And when the world finally sees the light of what God has done, it will not be because you told them. It will be because God Himself revealed it in His timing. My friends, let me speak to you as plainly and as urgently as I can. The blessing that God has ordained for you is not something to be treated lightly. When wealth comes into your hands, it is more than just money. It is an assignment, a trust, a weight of responsibility. And the first proof that you are ready to carry that weight is whether you have the discipline to stay quiet. Silence is the language of wisdom. Silence is the covering of the faithful. Silence is what preserves the sack. Read until the proper time. Do not be deceived. When God blesses you, not everyone around you will rejoice. Some will envy you, some will plot against you, and some will secretly resent the very hand that feeds them. That is why the wisdom of God whispers to you, when this money comes, don't tell anyone. Because your words have power. Your announcement can draw either favor or envy. You're either support or sabotage. Your mouth can open doors or it can expose you to wolves. And once the wolves know where the sheep are, they will not stop until they have scattered the flock. Consider how God moves in His creation. The sun rises each day without a trumpet blast. The rivers flow without announcing themselves. The earth spins silently on its axis. The greatest works of God are carried out with majesty, but also with quietness. So why then, when God deposits something precious into your hands, would you rush to announce it? You must learn to imitate the wisdom of God Himself, moving with repose, with grace, with silence until the time is right for the world to see. And let me tell you this, the wealth that God places into your life is not meant to make you boastful. It is meant to make you useful. Money in the wrong hands can destroy lives, but money in the hands of one who fears God can heal communities, feed the hungry, build legacies, and create opportunities. That is why the enemy wants to distract you, to push you into flaunting what should be guarded. Because the moment you expose your treasure to the wrong eyes, you endanger not only your wealth, but the impact that wealth was meant to create. Guard your circle carefully. Not everyone who sits at your table should know what is in your storehouse. Some people are not sitting with you because they love you. They are sitting with you because they want to measure your portion. They want to see how much you have so they can devise ways to take it. That is why wisdom says, keep quiet. Let them guess, let them wonder. But never let them know the full measure of what God has poured into your lap. And listen, sometimes silence is not just about protecting yourself from others. Silence also protects your own spirit. The moment you boast of what you have, pride begins to creep in. The moment you flaunt your wealth, you open the door for arrogance to take root. But when you stay quiet, when you thank God in secret, when you manage what He has given you with humility, your spirit remains pure and your blessing remains intact. Silence is not only protection from others, it is protection from yourself. Think of the story of kings and rulers of old. The downfall of many was not that they lacked strength, but that they lacked restraint. They revealed too much. They trusted too widely. They boasted too loudly. And the very people they trusted became the instruments of their destruction. Learn from this, my friends. It is not everyone who smiles at you who wishes you well. It is not everyone who asks questions about your progress, who is interested in your success. Some are fishing for information, waiting to use it against you. Do not feed them with your own words. When God raises you, He does not require you to explain your rise to others. The same God who lifted you will let your life itself be the testimony. You will not have to tell people you are blessed. They will see it. You will not have to declare you have abundance. They will notice it. You will not have to prove that God has favored you. Your peace, your stability, and your quiet strength will be undeniable. That is the power of letting God reveal you instead of revealing yourself. And I must warn you, if you speak too soon, you can delay what God intended to accelerate. There are blessings that die in the womb because they were exposed before they were ready to breathe. There are dreams that are aborted because they were spoken too loudly in the wrong ears. Keep what God gives you covered until He instructs you to uncover it. What is hidden is protected. What is shouted is vulnerable. The timing of God is everything. If you can trust Him with your silence, He will trust you with greater abundance. Do not fear that your silence means you are ungrateful. No, your silence is not ingratitude. It is wisdom. Gratitude belongs to God alone, not to the applause of men. Thank Him in prayer. Honor Him in how you use what He has given you. And let the fruit of your stewardship be your testimony. The world does not need to hear your announcement. They will see the evidence with their own eyes. And let me say this to you. Money is temporary, but the way you handle it has eternal consequences. God is watching to see if you will treat His provision as a toy for showing off or as a tool for transformation. He is testing to see if you will remain humble when He elevates you, or if you will let arrogance destroy you. Your silence will prove whether you value His gift as sacred or treat it as a prop for attention. When this money comes, my friends, stay hidden in humility. Stay hidden in prayer. Stay hidden in wisdom. Do not seek validation from men, because the validation of men is fickle. It shifts like the wind. Seek only the approval of God, for His approval is eternal. And if you remain faithful, if you remain disciplined, then the blessing will not only come, it will stay. And not only will it stay, it will multiply. And not only will it multiply, it will outlive you, becoming a legacy for your children and your children's children. My friends, hear me with both your ears and with your heart. When God releases money into your life, it will not only test the people around you, it will test you because wealth has a voice. It speaks. It whispers temptations. It calls for attention. It draws people near who were never there before. Wealth is not silent. It attracts noise. And if you do not answer with wisdom, if you do not guard your spirit with discretion, you will be swallowed by the very blessing that was made to elevate you. That is why I declare again, when this money comes, don't tell anyone. Wealth in the hands of one who lacks wisdom is like fire in the hands of a child. It burns, it destroys, it consumes. But wealth in the hands of one who fears God is like fire in the hands of a master. It warms, it protects, it gives life. The difference is not in the money itself, but in how it is handled. God does not measure your greatness by what you have. He measures your greatness by how you manage what He has entrusted to you. And one of the first signs of good management is restraint, the ability to remain silent when silence is necessary. Let me remind you of something profound. Money reveals the truth. When God elevates you, you will begin to see who was truly with you and who was only pretending. Some people will change when you prosper, not because you changed, but because your blessing exposed the condition of their hearts. They may smile with their lips, but envy will drip from their eyes. They may celebrate with you in public, but curse you in secret. This is why God tells you to keep your treasure hidden, because if they cannot see it, they cannot envy it. If they cannot measure it, they cannot plot against it. And do not misunderstand me. Silence does not mean selfishness. Silence does not mean you will never give, never share, never bless. No, silence means you use discernment. You share wisely. You give where God instructs you, not where people demand. You bless those whom God directs you to bless, not those who pressure you with flattery or guilt. Because money without wisdom will make you a victim, but money with wisdom will make you a vessel through which God can channel His goodness to others without exposing you to unnecessary harm. Think of the wisdom of God in creation. The pearl is formed inside the shell, hidden from the world, covered and protected until it is ready. Gold is buried deep within the earth, unseen until it is mined with great effort. Even water, the most essential of resources, flows underground before it springs forth in rivers. If God Himself hides His treasures, why would you expose yours prematurely? Do you see it? The principle is woven into the very fabric of creation. What is precious must be hidden until the proper time. When money comes into your hands, pride will try to rise up within you. It will whisper, "Show them what you have. Prove to them that you are successful. Let them see that you are no longer struggling." But that voice is not from God. That is the voice of temptation. Because the moment you try to prove yourself to people, you have already lost sight of who you are proving yourself to. You are not accountable to men. You are accountable to God. Let your wealth glorify Him, not your ego. Let your prosperity point upward, not inward. And understand this: those who truly love you do not need proof of your blessing. They will rejoice in your peace. They will celebrate your progress. They will thank God for your abundance without demanding to count your coins. But those who are not for you will never be satisfied, no matter how much you show them. If you reveal little, they will despise you. If you reveal much, they will envy you. That is why the wisest choice is to reveal nothing and let God Himself defend the evidence of His hand on your life. God is not careless in His blessings. He does not give without purpose. If He has decided to trust you with money, it means He has decided to test you with responsibility. Your responsibility is not to impress others. It is to honor Him. Your responsibility is not to prove yourself. It is to remain faithful. Your responsibility is not to make noise. It is to walk in quiet dignity, allowing your actions, your discipline, and your generosity to speak louder than your lips ever could. Do not forget that envy is as ancient as humanity itself. It was envy that drove the first bloodshed on earth. It was jealousy that caused division between families, kingdoms, and nations. And envy has not lost its power today. It is still alive, still dangerous, still destructive. That is why you must never feed it with your own words. You must never give it oxygen with your announcements. If you keep your blessing hidden, envy will suffocate. If you expose it, envy will burn like fire and consume peace from your life. My friends, when you are faithful in silence, you will find that your life speaks louder than any announcement could. People will see your stability, your growth, your peace, your joy, and they will know that something has shifted. They may not know the details, but they will sense the difference. And that is enough. You do not need them to know the numbers in your account. You do not need them to know the value of your possessions. You only need them to see the light of God shining through your life. That light cannot be faked, and it cannot be hidden. It will shine without you uttering a single word. My beloved friends, let us go deeper, because this message is not simply about money. It is about trust, stewardship, and the sacred responsibility of carrying what God has given you. Wealth is not just a resource. It is a revelation. It reveals the intentions of your heart. It exposes the motives of those around you, and it tests your loyalty to God. Many pray for financial blessing, but few prepare for the weight of what that blessing brings. That is why the wisdom of God says, when this money comes, don't tell anyone, because silence is not the absence of power. It is the protection of power. You see, money has a way of magnifying everything it touches. If your heart is pure, money will magnify generosity. If your heart is greedy, money will magnify selfishness. If your friends are loyal, money will magnify their love. If they are deceitful, money will magnify their betrayal. Wealth does not change the essence. It only reveals what was already there. That is why God often delays financial increase until your character is ready, until your foundation is strong, until your heart is anchored in Him alone. Because if money comes too early, it can destroy you. But if it comes at the right time, it can establish you. Let me tell you something that may sting, but it is truth. People are not always happy when you prosper. They may cheer for you when you are struggling, because your struggle makes them feel superior. They may comfort you in your pain, because your pain makes them appear compassionate. But when you rise, when God begins to elevate you, that is when you will see the true nature of their hearts. Some will withdraw, some will envy, some will plot, and some will smile to your face while cursing you in their secret thoughts. This is why God warns you to move with silence, because silence starves envy. Silence blinds the greedy. Silence protects the treasure until it is too firmly established to be shaken. Remember the wisdom of the farmer. He does not expose the seed on the first day. He buries it. He covers it. He waters it in secret. He waits patiently until the roots are strong and the plant can endure the winds. If he dug up the seed to show it to the village, it would die before it had a chance to grow. In the same way, your financial blessing is like that seed. Guard it in silence until it grows strong enough to speak for itself. Let your life testify. Let your peace preach. Let your stability declare the faithfulness of God without you uttering a word. And understand this: the blessing of God is not given for you to prove your worth to men. You have nothing to prove to those who doubted you. Their doubt is their burden, not yours. Do not waste your wealth trying to silence their gossip. Do not waste your prosperity trying to answer their questions. God has already answered for you. He is the one who lifted you, and He is the only one you need to honor. The applause of people is fleeting, but the approval of God is eternal. Choose the eternal, my friends. Money can bring opportunity, but it also brings exposure. The more you have, the more visible you become. The more visible you become, the more vulnerable you are. This is why wisdom says, move with humility, move with discretion, move with restraint. Do not be quick to show what God has placed in your hands. Protect it like a sacred trust. Use it for good, but use it quietly. Bless others, but bless them without noise. Give, but give without boasting, because the moment you boast, the blessing begins to lose its holiness. Do not confuse generosity with recklessness. Some people think that because God has blessed them, they must open their hand to everyone. But God did not call you to be drained by manipulators. He called you to be led by His Spirit in giving. There is a difference between giving because God directs you and giving because people demand it. If you give to satisfy people, you will soon find yourself empty, resenting the very blessing God entrusted to you. But if you give as God leads, you will find that your blessing multiplies, your peace deepens, and your heart remains joyful. And let us speak plainly, wealth will attract parasites. Just as light attracts moths, abundance attracts opportunists. They will come disguised as friends, as helpers, even as family. They will flatter you. They will cling to you. They will promise loyalty. But their loyalty is to your money, not to your soul. Do not be deceived. Test the spirits. Watch the actions. Listen carefully to who disappears when you struggle and who suddenly appears when you prosper. God will reveal them to you if you remain silent long enough. But here is the greater truth. You do not have to announce your blessing, because God Himself will announce it in His time. He will set a table before you in the presence of your enemies. He will prepare circumstances that display His favor without you lifting a finger. You do not need to shout it, because the evidence will be undeniable. When peace floods your home, that will speak. When stability surrounds your family, that will speak. When you walk with quiet confidence, that will speak. And no amount of gossip or envy will be able to silence the testimony of God in your life. So guard your mouth, my friends, guard your treasure, guard your peace. When the money comes, lift your voice only to God in gratitude. Thank Him privately, honor Him with how you use it, worship Him in your stewardship. But to the world, let your silence be your shield. For silence and blessing is wisdom. Silence in prosperity is strength. Silence in abundance is victory. And if you remain faithful in your silence, God will continue to pour out blessing that no enemy, no hater, no manipulator, and no demon in hell can take away from you. When God blesses you with abundance, you must remember that not every blessing is meant to be displayed before the world. There is a sacredness to the things God places in your hands, a divine trust that must be guarded carefully. Many people ruin the very blessings they prayed for because they felt the need to broadcast them before those who cannot handle the sight of their success. Some will celebrate with you, yes, but many will envy, criticize, and secretly plot against what God has done in your life. And so when God opens the floodgates of provision, when this money comes into your hands, Do not feel pressure to tell anyone. Let the miracle remain between you and God, for it is God who gave it, and it is God who will sustain it. There are treasures too holy to be shouted from rooftops. Think of Joseph, the son of Jacob, who shared his dream too early, and his own brothers conspired against him. What was meant to be a revelation from God turned into a source of jealousy and betrayal. The same lesson applies to you when God blesses you with wealth, promotion, or a breakthrough. Guard it in silence until God Himself makes it visible. Your blessing will announce itself in God's time, without your voice ever needing to boast. Silence is often the most powerful shield for what God is doing behind the scenes. People often forget that money is not just currency. It is a test. With it, God examines your humility, your wisdom, and your faithfulness. And if you cannot handle secrecy, if you cannot manage discretion, then you are not yet ready for the full measure of what God desires to give you. For the one who flaunts what God provides invites unnecessary battles, but the one who hides it in God's covering walks in peace. Silence is a fortress and humility is its gate. Do not confuse silence with fear. Silence is strength. Silence is wisdom. Silence is trust in God, knowing that He will exalt you in due time. When this money comes, let your lips give praise to God, but let your mouth remain closed before men who do not need to know. The hand of God does not need human validation. The wealth of God does not need human applause. When you speak too quickly, you invite opinions, criticisms, and distractions that will drain your focus and shake your peace. But when you remain silent, you preserve the oil of your blessing, and that oil will multiply because it is guarded. Money reveals the heart of those around you. Some will see your blessing and rejoice, but others will see it, and their hearts will turn cold. Suddenly, the ones who once embraced you will see you differently. Some will demand from you, others will manipulate you, and many will envy you. But if you never tell them, they cannot poison the gift God has entrusted to you. Discretion is the key to preservation. God's provision is not for show. It is for stewardship. The moment money enters your life, the enemy will try to use it as a weapon. He will send people to exploit you, tempt you into pride, and push you into foolish decisions. That is why God's wisdom says, when this money comes, do not tell anyone. Keep it in prayer. Keep it in humility. Keep it in silence. For it is better to surprise the world with the fruit of your faith than to invite their hands into the seed God has only just placed in your soil. God elevates in secret. God multiplies in silence. And when the time is right, He reveals it openly, not for your boasting, but for His glory. If you rush ahead of God's timing and expose what He is building, you may destroy the very foundation of your blessing. But if you wait, if you trust, if you hide what must be hidden, then when it emerges, no one will be able to deny that it was God and God alone who brought it forth. So guard your blessing the way a shepherd guards his flock. Protect it the way a farmer protects his harvest. Do not leave it exposed to the winds of gossip or the storms of envy. Hide it under the shadow of God's wings, and let Him be the one to reveal it when the season is right. Remember, not every eye deserves to see what God has placed in your hand, and not every ear deserves to hear what God has whispered to your heart. My beloved, hear this truth deep in your soul. When this money comes, when this blessing pours into your hands, when God finally delivers what He has promised you, guard it. Do not parade it before those who cannot handle the sight of your success. Do not hand over to man what God entrusted to you in secret. The blessing is not for their approval, it is for God's glory. Silence is not weakness, it is wisdom. Secrecy is not fear, it is stewardship. To keep quiet is to protect the holy gift of God, until the season of revelation comes. Remember this: money is not your master. God is your master. Money is not your security. God is your security. Money is not your identity. God is your identity. And when you cling to God above the gift, then the gift cannot destroy you. Wealth may fill your hands, but only God can fill your heart. And if your heart is full of God, no amount of envy, no amount of gossip, no amount of attack can shake what He has planted in your life. So walk humbly, give quietly, save wisely, share only when God leads you, and hide what must remain hidden. For the eyes of men may seek to know, but the eyes of God already see. And His approval is worth more than all the applause of this world. Let your success be a silent song of gratitude. Let your abundance be a hidden testimony. And let your heart always whisper, God, this is yours. When this money comes, do not tell anyone. Tell God alone. Thank Him. Honor Him. Trust Him. And watch how He multiplies what you guard in His presence, turning your silence into strength, your humility into honor, and your obedience into unshakable blessing.